The relationship that women have with plastic surgery is a direct correlation to the relationship and the messages that women receive from the world about their value when it comes to how they present their bodies. And I've talked about this a couple times on this channel, how different types of aesthetic privilege equate into different types of social access. I've talked about it several times.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Coloring and Comments, a channel where I color in mandalas and talk to you about various topics that are on my mind. And from the intro videos, you might have an idea of what we might be talking about today. Today I want to discuss what it is or how it feels like to live in a female body. Because when you live in a female body, society thinks it has permission to dictate what you should or shouldn't look like at any given stage in your life. Like, women are not allowed to age, women are not allowed to get fat, women are not allowed to have a certain shoe size. And this permission gets more stringent when you live in a black body, when you live in a black female body, because people have an image of what a black body should look like. And if you don't look like this image of a small waist, thick thighs, and a big butt, you're not considered a black female. I know, stupid, right? But I remember when I was like 11, 12, I really wanted plastic surgery because I used to watch the show called Extreme Makeover. Not Extreme Makeover Home Edition. Those are two different shows. Okay. And I recall wanting a BBL so bad, and I would take a marker and mark the areas on my body where I'd want them to take fat that they would use to now inject in my butt. And yes, BBLs did exist before the Kardashians. I mean, BBLs existed in the 1980s already, so it's been a phenomenon. And I remember wanting to do this because my body was changing faster than that of my peers, and I felt like my body never looked right. And I say that because I was constantly surrounded by people that would highlight the differences in my body. And even at a young age, I knew that for you to be seen as popular or to be considered part of the in crowd, you had to be seen as beautiful. You had to be seen as sexy. And again, these are all requirements that have to meet societal permissions of what your body should look like, right? And yes, I was younger, and some people might be like, your body was still growing, you might have grown into your body, and etc., etc. You're right. I was still young, and I could have still grown into my body, but that didn't stop the comments. That didn't stop people from saying I was fat. That didn't stop people from saying my belly was too big, or my skin was too dark, or that my legs were shaped funny. And with all those comments, I internalized that. I internalized all those comments. I didn't see it as being bullied. I saw it as my body was intrinsically flawed. And I saw that everything they said must be right because it's coming from different sources. And therefore, I started looking at certain body parts as intrinsically flawed. So I've always seen my stomach to be really big. I've always considered my thighs or my legs to be weirdly shaped. No matter what people have said as I've grown older, I've come to terms with my skin. I love my skin now. I actually wish I was a few shades darker, like some beautiful models I have seen. I'll try to insert a picture here, but God only blesses us so much, so I'm okay with that. And I remember going through high school, and if you listen to my previous videos, you might remember that I didn't grow up in the best household when I was in high school. And in high school, I'd always wear a jersey. And yes, I would wear a jersey because sometimes we wouldn't have like electricity to iron my clothes, or we wouldn't have like washing powder to wash the clothes. The jersey hid that. But more than anything, I would wear the jersey because I didn't want people to see my stomach. I didn't want people to start making fun of my stomach, because I always felt like in my head, till now, I always feel like my stomach looks like I'm 6 months pregnant. Um, that's what I see when I look in the mirror, and I know that this thought is wrong, because when I look at the picture of mine, which if I remember I'll insert it here, I don't look 6 months pregnant, but that's what I think. That's what I thought in high school. And I still remember there was a time when a teacher pulled me aside and asked me if I was pregnant, because I'm always wearing a jersey. Because what would happen in high school, unfortunately, there were some cases of teenage pregnancies. A lot of the ladies would wear jerseys to hide their growing stomachs, right? So this teacher, for some reason, okay, not for some reason, she had a valid reason, thought I was pregnant because I would always wear a jersey. And when I say always, I mean in the blistering heat of Namibia, I would be wearing a jersey all the time. So she had a valid reason, but that no. Um, so for the longest time, I used to think that these feelings that I had were due to low self-esteem, and I would go to therapy, and they tried to teach me how to love my body, and trying to teach me how to a lot of positive self-talk to boost my self-image and so on. But I later realized, can't remember what I was doing in therapy or what we were talking about in particular, but I realized that I actually have body dysmorphia. But what is body dysmorphia? So body dysmorphia, or body dysmorphia disorder, so it's BDD, and I'll probably be referring to it like that throughout the rest of the video. But BDD is a mental condition where someone spends a lot of time worrying about a flaw in their appearance. And often this flaw is unnoticeable to others, is deemed a normal occurrence, such as balding in men, or does not even exist, right? For example, in my case, I do not look 6 months pregnant in reality. But in my head, when I see myself, I always see myself as 6 months pregnant. Body dysmorphia's cause is not really clear, but what a lot of people in the psychology world seem to agree upon is that they believe that it stems from bullying, from teasing, and from childhood abuse or trauma. And I can attest to the bullying and teasing part, because I feel like had I not been constantly teased about my stomach, my body, at so many instances, whether it was at school or with my own family, I don't think I would have gotten to a point where I view my body the way I view it now. And body dysmorphia or BDD can be so hard to treat because a lot of people just see it as low self-esteem. Or a lot of people can see it as vanity because of how it can manifest. Sometimes I think, like for example, when I complain about my stomach or my legs, people probably think I'm just trying to get compliments from them, because they'll be like, no, but your stomach is flat, or no, your legs look nice. But in reality, I'm not shopping for compliments. I'm really complaining. I'm really upset, because there's some days when I am so upset about how I look like that I just get so angry with myself. I remember the other day, I think 2 days ago, I was speaking to my husband about we should start saving money for me to get plastic surgery because I really want to get a liposuction. And he was like, no, there's nothing to suck out, ma'am. there's nothing to liposuck at your stomach area. And this is one of the ways in which BDD can manifest, but we'll get there. The first instance in which it can manifest is that constant comparison to other people, or constantly comparing yourself to other people. And this is exacerbated by social media, especially if you are on Instagram, because the more you scroll, the more you see, at least on my feed, all these ladies that are working out, all these ladies with flat stomachs, with not even 6 but 8 packs, with butts that you don't know, are they from, what is this, squats, or are they from somebody's surgical table, right? So you're constantly comparing yourself to others, and it's a comparison not as, oh, I'm motivated to start exercising or whatever, but a constant comparison of, I'm just not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I could never look like that, I should look like that. I think that's the biggest thing, believing like you should look a certain way. The second thing is this complicated relationship with mirrors. So people with BDD, let me backtrack a bit. When I say mirrors, I mean mirrors in any reflective surfaces, including shop windows, etc. So people with BDD have a very complicated relationship with mirrors. You find mainly two subsets. One that avoids mirrors at all costs because they don't want to see their reflection, and you find the other group, which is the group that is fixated on mirrors, constantly looking at their reflection. Not looking at their reflection because they're trying to be vain, but looking at their reflection, saying, how is this flaw looking today? Did it get better? Did it get worse? Can people see it? How am I going to hide it? So they're spending so much time in a mirror, and people looking from the outside in probably think, oh, they're just checking themselves out. They think they're so cute, whatever. But in reality, it's that constant battle of, can people see my flaw? Can people see my flaw? What can I do to hide it? And in between these two subsets, you find this group where I often fall in, where you avoid mirrors, but the moment you see your reflection in a mirror, you can't stop looking because you're thinking, can people see this flaw? How are people perceiving this flaw? Are people going to judge me because of this flaw? And this form of thinking ties into the third way it can manifest, and this is increased social anxiety, not wanting to be around people, feeling like you need to hide because you're afraid of what people will say based on your perceived flaw, based on what you think is wrong with your body. I know for one that I don't like going out. And when I do go out, I try to dress in a certain way so as to hide my body. There are instances, and those are usually days when I feel good and I'm really proud of myself, where I wear a crop top, but it's one of those crop tops where like the distance between the pants and the top are like less than 5 centimeters, girl. Less than 5 centimeters. But it's just the thing of avoiding social situations because of fear of being judged, because of fear that someone will come to you and point out that flaw. And that just ruins your entire day because it validates the way you look at your body. And the last way in which it can manifest, and it's kind of tying into the first video that we saw when we started today's video, and that is cosmetic surgery. Because people with BDD spend a lot of time trying to change their appearance, trying to change or fix that flaw in order to feel better, in order to feel normal. But then the problem is that if the flaw technically does not exist in reality, or doesn't really exist to the extent that people think, is that even when you fix it, or when the doctor fixes it, right? When you look at yourself in the mirror, it's still going to be there. Because remember, it's not really a physical problem, it's a mental disorder. So the part of your brain that looks at your body in that way is still present. The part of your brain that looks at yourself as disformed is still evident, right? So no amount of surgery, no amount of makeup will mask or fix that part of your brain if you don't actively do the work. And before we go into what you can do to actively do the work, we're going to talk about Ms. Jackie O just a little.
If you guys didn't know, Jacqueline Smith, also known as Miss Jackie O, recently was announced as passed away. Now, the 32-year-old Oakland, California native recently passed away due to complications with her surgery, according to what a lot of sources are telling TMZ, The Shade Room, and other media outlets. A lot of people speculate that her doctor is a big reason why she passed away, because she posted literally 2 days ago, before she passed away, that she was going to get a mommy makeover, which is a popular bundle package that a lot of surgeons oftentimes offer. A lot of times when women have children, their body is obviously not the same because they had a whole fucking human being in their damn body.
Disclaimer is, I'm not saying that she had BDD. I am not saying that she went in to fix a perceived flaw. But what I'm saying is that people should look at this case and realize the dangers of cosmetic surgery. I'm not one that's against cosmetic surgery. Like I said, like a few days ago, I was already thinking about it. And I realized that the part of me that was thinking about it was the disordered part of my brain, because the logical part of my brain knows that there's so many dangers that come with it. And when you do sign up for cosmetic surgery, you need to do it from a place of you already love and are confident with your body, and you want to enhance something, not fix something. Because the moment you're coming from a place of fixing something, you might want to reevaluate what you're trying to do. And I say that because unfortunately so many women, especially so many black women, are dying during surgery. And they're dying during surgery because a lot of them are going for BBLs, trying to get the image of what people say a black body should look like. And unfortunately, because of the cost of cosmetic surgery, a lot of people, a lot of black women are going to more affordable areas to get that surgery. And sometimes these more affordable areas do not have the necessary safety precautions in place to ensure that the individual not only survives the surgery but also recovers well, and can go back to their normal life. Okay, so what can you do if you kind of identify with some of these signs and think that you may have BDD? And from everything that I've read, your biggest solution, your biggest answer would be going to therapy, having cognitive behavioral therapy with your psychologist, and also having SRIs. Shucks, I forgot what that stands for, but it's basically medication, almost like an antidepressant that changes the way in which your brain absorbs or takes up serotonin, so that it rewires your brain in such a way that you get to a point of thinking logically. Yes, so those are your best 2 bits. The CBT is there to practice rewiring your brain, practice and changing the way you think about yourself, think about your body, think about that certain aspect where you think it's flawed, by also digging deeper as to where was that seed first planted, and recognizing that even though the seed was planted and it has grown into a full tree, it doesn't mean that that tree should exist in your life. And it means that it is time. Okay, we're not promoting deforestation here, but we're saying it's time to cut down that figurative tree and take it out from the root, because it doesn't or shouldn't exist in your life. And the medication, obviously your medical professionals would recommend it depending on how severe your case is and how they believe it will help you. And here I'll ask you, do you think we should do a video, before I sign out, a video on medication? Because I know it can be a very touchy subject to a lot of people, and some people are for it, some people are against it. There are pros and cons for each side. So let me know in the comment section if you'd like to do, or if you'd like me to do a video on medication. Okay, back to BDD. So if you, like I said, if you feel like you or someone you know might exhibit these symptoms, please get help. Please see a therapist. Please see a psychologist. Talk to someone that you trust, someone that is open and won't judge you for your feelings, and explore the idea. Because once you can pinpoint where that where the idea was planted, you can get help and you can get better. Because BDD is one disorder that can be overcome. So don't feel like you are alone. Thank you so much for everyone to tune in. Please make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'd really love to hear your thoughts down below on today's video, on today's topic. Do you think that BDD is really a problem, especially amongst the Black community? And what do you think we can do about it to curb this growing phenomenon amongst women especially? And quick sidebar here is that BDD can also manifest in men. So if it is manifesting in any male colleague or friend that you have, please recommend this video to them as well. May your day be colorful and wonderful, and I'll definitely see you in the next video. Bye.